Oh my God! Ooh. What's he doing? Mi corazón. Wow. Oh, she was too hot. Oh, too fast, too furious. Whoa, too. I don't know. Oh, sorry, little dude. I can't laugh. I can't laugh. He's a baby. Wow. Oh. Oh, let's see this one. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Woo. He's still gonna eat it. He took the egg. Wow. What is Oh. 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 Ma'am. You don't throw a knife. Wow. Who do? Oh! What you? Bro, what? Why?
Well, she said, I ain't never seen a turkey with its legs crossed.
That was genetically modified, ma'am. I wouldn't eat that.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't. Oh, wow. All right. Enough of that. Well, welcome everybody to the Blacksmith Podcast. I told you we were going to switch it up. So I just started this one with fails. The last 2 weeks, it was the packaged porch robbers. But enough of that. We have a good show lined up. We're going to switch off of this really quickly. Charlie Munger video, we're not going to do right now. I actually have some other stuff for you. But, remember, Saturday financial topic. This is currently on Discord Live. So if you're in the Discord group, as you can see, I have nobody on right now. People had places to be today. So it is what it is, but it's going to be on YouTube, so you can catch it after that. But let me show you guys. I actually got some new threads in. So this is like a baby blue. Hopefully my lighting is good. Not good. GOODT. Good. So this is a baby blue. Got this one in. Oddly enough, I'd worn a baby blue one to the Yim earlier this week, and I left it there. Didn't even notice it either. And one of the guys I work with, he came. He was like, "Hey man, is that your T-shirt over there in the cubby hole?" I went over there. He was like, "It looks like the shirt, the guy with the hammer that you normally wear." And yeah, that was it. So this is a tan. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is because you can now place orders. I'm gonna put it in Discord, but you can put from a small to about a, and in my opinion, these what is this? Toltex, TULTEX shirts. In my opinion, they run larger. See, like, what would you think this size is? You see how it comes? Like my waist is right here, but look at this. What size do you think this is? This is actually a large, right? So think about that when you're ordering it, because I can't do refunds on them. But if you want to order them, and you're local, I'll just like if I see you at the gym or whatever, I can just bring it to you. But if you are not local, um, just put in an order. My Cash App is at the Blacksmith Podcast, I think, or the money sign, the Blacksmith Podcast, whatever Cash App is like. Um, Whatever it is, just search the Blacksmith Podcast and you'll find it there. Um, and when you order it, make sure you drop a note with your address and your name so that I can actually ship it out. Makes sense? Right now, I'm only doing the US because it's ultra expensive to ship overseas. And I mean, the shirts are going for $40. I have to make some profit off of it, right? They cost to actually make, and if we're doing onesies, twosies, they actually cost more. So unless I'm dropping a bulk order of like 5 to 10 shirts, yeah, it's gonna cost more to make. So I have to make some profit off of it. But thank you guys for your continued support. I'm trying to get more support on these longer videos. So I'm trying to do like fails and other things to make it more entertaining because I noticed there's not a whole lot of views on the longer videos, but there are on the shorts. So I'm trying to find a way to make them more interesting. This year, I'm going to start interviewing people on the channel. So that's just a look ahead to where we're going. Right now, I want to start by looking at uh, some of the movers in the market. So we're going to check on our Mag 7. If you are not familiar, that is okay. I had to make sure it was showing. That is Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. I was just naming these off to my brother earlier, and I forgot Tesla. I always forget one. I'm good for 6 of them. I'm gonna forget one of them. And if I had an honorable mention, some of these stocks, I would say Palantir is a good one. Um, I would also say probably in the health sector, I would probably say Eli Lilly. Um, but we're gonna check on some of these. Let's see how they have done. Let me slide this one next to here. Nvidia. Let's see. There's my brother. He showed up. He showed up. He's showing out. All right. So Nvidia for the past, let's go 5 days. That's as good as a week. All right, so for the past week, Nvidia is up $2.90, 1.59%. Now, about Nvidia, if you're not familiar with what Nvidia does, where are we at? So Nvidia is American Technology Corporation, yada yada yada. You can read that for yourself because it is on the screen. However, if you really want to know, NVIDIA makes GPUs, game processing units, right? They make game processing units. Now, they do other stuff too, but this is one of the biggest things that they actually do. And everybody uses their GPUs. I mean, NVIDIA sells this is like their biggest product, right? So they sell to other companies to make their stuff. And another sector that they need to that they buy from. Oh, if I had an honorable mention for the Mag 7, it would be TSM. Let me write that down because I can't remember it. Let me say Mag 7. I said Eli Lilly in the medical sector. But keeping it tech, I would definitely say TSM, and I mentioned Palantir as well. So we'll take a look at those. But more about Nvidia. Nvidia, if you didn't know, a month or two ago became our first $1 trillion market cap company, and Apple being the first $1 trillion market cap company, and somebody hit $4 trillion recently as well. In fact, let me not leave you hanging. Let me see. What company recently became a $4 trillion company. Was it Google? Yeah, it was Google. It was Google. There you go. Alphabet. So if you're not familiar in the stock market, they are Alphabet. So there's Alphabet. There's an A side and a B side, uh, aptly named, I guess. But yes, um, Google was the one that hit a $4 trillion market evaluation. All right, getting back to it. So that's Nvidia. But one thing I wanted to let me see. Let me see if Gemini instead of Google. Let me see if Gemini can get this right. Let's see. What companies are in Nvidia's uh, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that they all buy from each other. It's like recycling money. It's like a circular investing circle or something. That that's weird. Um, how about I just put it in plain language? What companies does or do? What companies do does Nvidia? See, I'm human. No AI here. Buy from and what companies buy from Nvidia? I'm sure it can do this. Now watch this, because I know a lot of companies buy um, Nvidia's GPUs. But here's the main one right here. This is why I said this would be if there was a Mag 8. You know, you have seven wonders of the world. Well, there's an eighth world wonder, uh, said Jay Z. And who made that song? I think I fell in love with the eighth world wonder. I don't remember. It was back in the early 2000s. Anyway, it was a female. I don't remember her name. But anyway, there's a Mag 7. And if I had a Mag 8, I would throw TSM in there. And here's why. Everybody buys their semiconductors. Period. Nvidia makes chips and they makes GPUs. Everybody, about 90% of the world uses TSM. So they almost have a monopoly on the market. And when you're investing in a company, you want a company that has a moat around them like a castle and nobody else can get to them. You don't want the company or the castle who has the kingdom in the center, where everybody can attack from every angle. You want a company that is value chain. Yeah, that's a good one. That's probably what I should have said. But I heard a term, Mark Tilbury. He used it was circular investing or something like that. I can't remember. It might come to me. I'm getting kind of old, but he's older than me and he used it. So, but anyway, you don't want, like, if you were playing, I don't know, some game like Risk or something, man, you don't want one of those countries that's just in the middle of everything, because you can get attacked by all sides. You want the the country that's off in the cut. But then again, yeah, I guess you could get I guess you can get choked off. They can wait you out and starve you out and something like that, cut off your water supply. You could always do stuff like that. I'm just saying. All right, hold on. Let me pull the DMs up on Discord on my phone. Okay, that was weird. An invalid invite. Is this you trying to send an invite to somebody else? Sorry, show. All right, here we go. Um, so TSM, and we're gonna get to them in a second. Look, Micron Technology. This is another one we're gonna look up. Micron is a good one to actually invest in. Um, let's see, Amcor Technology, ASML. ASML is one that we do not talk about enough, but we're going to talk about them today. Now, who buys from NVIDIA? Look, Microsoft, Amazon, AWS. Yeah. When they went down, Google, Meta. Look, more of the Mag 7. Dell, Lenovo, HPE, Supermicro purchased the GPUs and chips. OpenAI, Anthropic. We don't talk about Anthropic and OpenAI enough, and these are pre-IPOs. They're or otherwise known as private companies. OpenAI and Anthropic. Most people say that Microsoft owns OpenAI. They do not. It's a private company. Microsoft just has I think they have at least 50% market share of OpenAI, or darn close to it. Chat, help me out if you're able to. But they do own a good margin of OpenAI shares, and with good reason. Chat GPT is not a Microsoft product, though. It's OpenAI. And OpenAI did not sell to Google. In fact, I'm waiting for this IPO and I'm waiting for Anthropic's IPO. And here's another one people don't talk about enough because we're in a war, proxy war, or whatever you want to call it, a battle, not a war. Let me take that back because people will be saying, oh, this active duty guy I saw online said we're in a war with China. No, I didn't. In fact, I hadn't even finished the sentence, so I didn't put the country until now. And I'm saying, no, we're not. We're not in a war with China, but of sorts. We're in a battle with them for like economy and technology and stuff like that. But anyway, Alibaba comes from the People's Republic of China, the PRC. And this one, I heard Earn Your Leisure saying when you're talking AI, this is like number 4 on the list. Yes, a race with China. Yes, I love that. You see that? The power of articulation. Words have meaning. ByteDance, I don't know about them. And Tencent, I don't know about them either. But now you see that they've been acquiring people too. See, we have to look into this. So look, if you're following me on YouTube while I'm doing this, even if you're on live, but only my brother's here, but if you were following me, you should pull Gemini, do the same prompt, give the same prompt I just gave, so you have the same information, and follow along that way. But that's NVIDIA. That's a quick look at them. There's more to say, but we're going to get on to the next one. Now, we're going to go do another Mag 7. So we started from the bottom. Now we're here. Let's start all the way from the bottom. Let's go Tesla. All right, I need you to move. Good, sir. Can I? Oh, here we go. Tesla. I didn't want to have to back out just to come back into it. All right. So Tesla, you know what I should have done? Before we move on from NVIDIA, we already did, but I'm going to go back before I announce anything. So 1 month, in 1 month, NVIDIA is actually up 8%, almost 9%. 6 months, about 8%. Since January, they're down, which is fine because in the past year, they're up 35%, 48 beans. So had you just bought last year, right here, when the tariffs got announced, April 4th was their lowest point. They were at, how much is this? $94. It's doubled since then. Almost. I mean, it's $2 off from double. It's doubled since then. I say that. Like, if you would have bought when they announced tariffs, you would have been in the money. And this is why this show exists, right? Because people buy wrong. Look, its high was 207.04 last year, and that was in October. So look, this is why this show exists. I want to teach y'all to buy stock properly. When they announce tariffs and people are scared, Warren Buffett has a saying: when people are scared, you buy. When people are greedy, you sell. Let me see. When people are That's 8. Scared you by Warren Buffett. It's something like that. Here we go. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. All right. So, others being fearful, that was tariffs, right? He said, be greedy. So, when they're fearful, and he's saying others, the mass majority of people have no idea how to buy stock. He does. So, his knowledge, his wisdom here, his advice, this is actionable. When everybody else is fearful and they're like, oh my God, the market's tanking, he said, be greedy, which means to buy, right? When that market fell down to that much, they're like, oh, Nvidia's falling off the map. What you have to get into your mind, folks, is you have to trust that the stock market's not going anywhere. Oh my God, but there was a crash before in the 20s and or the 30s. And yeah, and guess where it is now? It's it's back. Na 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 na. Fix your antenna tune. Na 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 na. Oh yeah, this is a new shirt too. So I had a navy blue one before. I've got this bright blue one now. But anyway, getting back on topic. So be fearful when others are greedy. So when the market's booming and everybody's like buy, 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 buy because everything's all green, you should be fearful, and which means simply do not buy anything. Because when things are near its 52-week high, you do not buy. But when things are down from its 52-week high in the red, I couldn't make it rhyme. I tried. The only thing I thought of was dead, but that's kind of morbid. I don't want to use that. But anyway, all right. So that's a look at Nvidia. Now let's go forward to Tesla. Tesla in the past week is actually down almost 1%. In the past month, they're down over 6%. Past 6 months, I can speak properly. They're up 36, almost 37%, which is a good bit actually. And since January, they're actually down to almost 3%. Year over year, though, they're only up 2.5%. But even them, watch this. So even them, and this happened in March. March 10th seems to be their lowest because the tariffs actually is a bit higher. It's like $1 higher. So March 10th, they were 222. No, April 8th, they were 221. 221. So if you had bought it here, look, you would have almost doubled your profit just by buying in when everybody else was fearful. So like I just shared, Warren Buffett said, be greedy. No, he said, be fearful when everyone else is greedy, be greedy when everyone else is fearful. So everyone else was afraid of the tariffs. The businesses were afraid. The consumers were afraid. The investors were afraid. Thus, the whole stock market tanked. But if you would have been greedy, I bought in April. Absolutely. And you know what? My portfolio had shrank down and I had a margin call on some of my shares. But some of it I waited it out. Some of it I had to sell, but I was still way up, like on the stuff that I had bought 100%, 200%, still when it was down because I bought when it was super low. So I sold off some of those, waited out the margin calls, but I bought some. I just moved some money around and I bought when because I borrow on margin as well. So that's you have to be crafty in this arena. I'll say that. But Tesla, now let's look at Tesla. What did we do? Now, most people know Teslas for their cars. Now, right here, I didn't do this for Nvidia, but I'm going to do it for Tesla. So it says they face significant challenges, including declining market share and intense competition with BYD in 2025 sales. If you don't know what BYD is actually a Chinese automaker, and they are electric as well. And I'm sorry, if you look at those cars right there, look, first of all, those should be on nobody's public street. That should be on a racetrack. But those are, it says it's the fastest electric vehicle on earth. The Yang Wang U9 Extreme. That to me looks like a Jetta or a Passat, but that's the Han. Oh, let's learn more. Oh, let's explore. BYD is one of like 20 electric companies in China. And I remember Rashad from Earn Your Leisure, Rashad Bilal, he went over there and he actually got a tour in China and he visited some EV companies. And I'm telling you, he said their cars, their batteries are better. The cars are more luxurious inside. They actually have more options and features for a fraction of the cost. Their cars would be like 20, 30 grand, and you got Teslas selling for 40, $50,000. Um, and these cars, he said, are better. Pound for pound, they're better. This is just a look at them. I don't even know if you can get BYDs over here. I'm not even sure. It's showing some of the features right here. But BYD, look, 300-mile range. Oh, I'd be all over it. First of all, my Tesla is older though, so I can't say it hasn't done its job. I got it when it was 4 years old, and the max range I had on it was like 234 after 4 years, but I think it was advertised for about 260. After 4 years, it was down to like 234. And now when I charge it to 99%, I never charge it to 100 anymore. I charge it to about 99% every day. I have it set to that and it gets about 180, but I need 150 a day. So this 370-mile range, I would take it. I would take it. The range is what I care about. Fun fact, I'm actually about to start. I'm actually going to become a motorcyclist here very soon. I'm going to a school for it next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm looking at motorcycles today. I'm going to get a helmet, some gloves for the class. And I may have a motorcycle as early as this weekend, but I don't think so. Probably next week sometime because I'm not going to start commuting on a thing. I'm a straight up beginner. So I'm going to do surface streets and ride around for a good bit of time so I can get the starting, the stopping, the um, engine braking, and things of that nature down. I want to play in traffic on surface streets uh, before I jump on the highway and do long drives. Because, self preservation. My body was, you know, I think it's pretty great, and I want to keep it intact the way it is. So I don't want any falling and sliding and crashing listen, if you ever played Road Rash, it's not real. You can't flip off the bike a football field away and run back to your bike. You're not getting up ever again. All right, anyway. So, Tesla. Now we saw what it did playing in traffic. Yeah, I don't want to play in traffic. What does that have some kind of meaning? That's not an innuendo or nothing, is it? If it was, I don't know. I don't mean it like that. I just mean playing around with your life. I'm in San Diego, man, and I will tell you what, you'll see sports bikes just ripping and roaring and they split lanes. So if you got a car on the left, a car on the right, granted, I'm just using the left and the right. We have like 5 lanes for Gen Pop, then we have 2 for HOV. And so I'm saying left and right lane in HOV, you'll have bikes just ripping past traffic. Everybody's going, the speed limit is 65 miles an hour down to San Diego. It's 70 once you pass San Diego and get up in Riverside County. So, but you'll have people be doing 65, 70 miles an hour. You'll have bikes fly by at like 90 miles an hour in between 2 cars. And that's what I mean playing in traffic. They crazy. Or or they just don't want to live. I don't know. They like living on the edge. Living on a prayer. All right. So back to Tesla. Now, some people are bullish. Let's look at the bullish. Bullish means that you are about buying it. You're about that action. When it comes to buying it, you believe in it, and here are the reasons to believe in it. So they think they're strong energy storage. They think they have a strong energy storage performance. They achieve record deployments in quarter four, gigawatts in the full year, surpassing analyst expectations. This segment provides a growth avenue beyond the core auto business. Well, that's good because what they're saying is Tesla's batteries that they're building are able to store more energy in them. Um, and they're saying that they're growing beyond the auto sector because most people only know them for their autos. However, Tesla does solar panels, they do batteries, they do a myriad of other things. So that's good with them saying that because even if you just looked at this and you didn't know that they did something other than autos, this would make you curious and you would look it up. Let's see. Let's Google it. Other than autos, what products did I put does Tesla make? All right. So energy generation and storage solutions, solar panels, solar roof, power wall, mega pack, charging infrastructures. I forgot about the superchargers. Yeah, I just used one yesterday. Software FSD operates charging networks alongside various lifestyle products like mugs, whistles, and even home appliances like fridges and TVs. Did not know that. Did not know that. But see, notice a lot of this, the average person is not going to be familiar with. Depending on where you live, solar panels might not actually be an everyday thing to see. It's so hot here in where I live, San Diego, and even a little north of San Diego, um, that solar panels just make sense. Southern California is more of like a desert state, right? Like Arizona or New Mexico and parts of Texas. You can't say Louisiana. When you get there, it's so lush and green. It's marshy and swampy as well. So, um, driving through Louisiana, I was like recharging, seeing all that greenery from the East Coast. I love seeing all that green. Um, I don't mean money, but I do love that, seeing that too. I don't love money because the love of money is a root of. I'm digging a grave, aren't I? Anyway, so here we go. Yeah, I need to play that for this one. I dug a grave. All right, so kudos to my brother for doing that. But look, here it is: solar roofs, batteries, power wall. That's one of the names of the batteries that they actually built. We have Tesla solar panels up on the roof, and when you drive by where I live, every single house has solar panels. That's how much sense it makes to have here. And I know, like in New York, a lot of the houses do thermal heating. So when they dig down into the earth a certain depth, and they have a pipe in there that you can leave open if you want the house to heat up to, like, sometimes I think it'll heat to like 80 degrees, but if you kind of shut it, maybe you get 70 something. So thermal heating was a thing when I was there, but it was pretty expensive. And solar panels used to be very expensive too. Now they're getting to the point where they're older technology. They're constantly being improved, but it's just not as new. So you're getting better prices on it. All right. So we see that. Now let's go back to Tesla. Upcoming Q4 earnings anticipations. Options positioning indicates call interest outweighs puts ahead of estimated Q4 earnings. So they're going to be doing their earnings call on January 28th. If you guys want to watch it, be there, be square. Suggesting potential for a pre-earnings bounce if expectations for margin stability are met. And then technical support levels, the stock has found support around the 420 to 435 range. What's it trading at now? 440 something? 437. Okay. So it's just outside of that range, suggesting buyers are present at these levels. A breakdown above a break above the resistance zone near 458 could signal further upward momentum. So what they're saying right here is when the stock bounces into that 420 range, 435, they have found more investors. They found the stock volume that people are buying it more. Um, and so now that it's at 437, they're saying they're out of that range right now, but that's a reason to be bullish on it. So um, let's see. Bearish, increased competition and price cuts. We just talked about BYD. That's China's probably premier their Tesla. Declining deliveries and demand issues. Total vehicle deliveries fell for a second consecutive year. Analysis, consensus, and demand for the Cybertruck model has been particularly weak, leading to production cuts. First and foremost, I think the Cybertruck, me personally, I think it was a bad idea. That thing is not really a truck. It's not a Chevy. It's not a Tacoma. It's not a Ram. It's not really a truck. It's like a large car, kind of in the shape of some futuristic Jetsons mobile. If they ever show the Jetsons landing on the ground, um, that would be like a Jetsons car, like what we thought cars would look like in the future in the time of the Jetsons, right? So that's pretty much what it is, and it's really just people are buying it just to, are they buying it to haul things? No, like you don't see anybody hauling anything with a Cybertruck because it's closed in the back. It's really a big car that they made in the shape of a truck. It's some stretched out looking SUV or something. I don't know. It's not a good design if you ask me. And I think the price point is way too high. If you wanted to sell more of those, you should have dropped the price down. I understand you're trying to make money, but listen, if it costs you 10,000 to make and you have to sell it for at least 50,000 to break even, then 70, 80,000 will do. Over 100 grand, yeah, good luck. What does a Cybertruck cost? I'm not hating because I don't even want it. I don't think that thing even it has no place in my life. Uh Cybertruck. I have a Tesla. I have an 18. It's just a Model 3. And guess what? I do not I only care about the range. I would not even have a Tesla if it wasn't for traffic in San Diego because with all that traffic, the HOV lane is where I live. I almost got a turbo diesel vehicle. Oh, so now it is 70 something thousand. They were over 100,000 before, but it's saying the 2026 is starting at 80. So I guess they learned their lesson. And here was another company that was having, no, it wasn't them, it was Lucid. It wasn't Rivian. Lucid was having trouble moving product um, because they were letting too many people customize. All right, anyway, let's get to the next Mag 7. Microsoft. We're going to go a little faster here. So things to remember. If you'd bought NVIDIA last year in April, when everybody was fearful, you would have doubled your investment. I think they were trading at $90. They're like 180 now. And the same thing with Tesla. They were trading at like 221 and they're now at like 440, 437. If I seem like my regular energetic self, I am. I went to the gym this morning. took a scoop of some good old pre-workout, got in there and did my thing for a while, and I got back home. All right. So Microsoft is trading at 459.86. In the past week, they're down of 3.5%. Same thing for monthly. 6 months down 10%. Since January, down almost 5%, but year over year, they're up 7%. Not a huge jump. In the past 5 years, though, they're double, 116%. So obviously not a bad place to put your money if you're looking to grow it. Year over year, let's look at April 7th. April 8th seems to be, it's either the 7th or the 8th. That's like the lowest day of the year for everybody. But look, if you would have bought it April 7th, it was 357. Still pretty high. It's down from 21% from what it is now, but you would have grown your money 21%, is what that means. And look, they were trading at 535. When is this? In August. They jumped back very quickly. 541, October 29th. So look, if you had bought this in April, you'd be up over $100 in equity right now. Over $100 for every share you bought. You'd be at over $100 in equity. You wouldn't have doubled it. Now, Nvidia doubled, Tesla doubled, Microsoft, they're up over $100 in equity. So let's see, Nvidia, we did Tesla, we're hitting Microsoft right now. Now let's look at some news. See, and what I'm doing, and this may not sound like the most exciting thing you ever wanted to hear when it comes to investing, but I'm going to tell you something. Investing from the outside looking in sounds very boring. And listen, I could sing, I could dance, I could juggle a couple of items, up here for you, but nothing's going to make you more excited about investing than if you actually start doing it and start seeing your portfolio increase in the volume of shares, in dividends, and in money. You start seeing it go up, that'll make you more interested. You need to strap in and focus. A lot of times we're just too addicted to entertainment. And that's why I said perpetual entertainment is the end of a man's CMD. It's creativity, motivation, and drive. Because if you just live for pure entertainment, you're a doom scroller. You sit here and you need the next little bit of endorphins that you can get, dopamine, from seeing something funny or exciting. And you're a slave to the phone. All right, so let's look at this. So let's look at the bullish, why they're saying buy it. They hold a consensus rating of moderate buy from analysis or from analysts with a collective average price target of approximately $630, suggesting an upside potential of 37% from current levels. So they're saying that they think the price target is going to move to that, 630. So that's good to know if you are trying to invest in it right now at 437. If you invest in it, they're saying in the future, they can see it moving to 630, but they didn't say when. So that's probably not in a year, or it could be because I think they jumped 30% last year. All right. Accelerating cloud and AI demand. This is for real. Azure revenue growth accelerated to 40% last reported quarter, driven by AI demand with significant unfulfilled orders, which means that people are waiting, which is both good and bad. It's good as long as a competitor does not get close to them and what their product can do for the customer, because they will continue being on the wait list for that product. It's bad if a competitor outdoes them. The company plans to double its data center footprint and indicating strong future revenue streams. Now, Ashur, what is that? I've heard of that. What is that? Is that a company? Um. Okay. So, oh, Azuri is Ashur. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So here's the thing.
Azure,
Oh, got you.
Microsoft Azure.
Oh, what is that?
It's their it's now called Intro, but it has some other features. Azure's one of their like domain. You can set a domain. It has a bunch of different features, but it's one of their main products that they sell to businesses.
But in a nutshell, to somebody who's not tech savvy, what is it?
It's a an integrated way to have users on a domain similar to military, government, big business, where you can. So when you have a user account at your job and you're locked out of it, the domain administrator puts your credentials back in. When you get a new user, when someone quits, gets fired, they take them out of that system. So it's where they essentially store users, which are people, computers, and devices, and it's a central hub for managing users, computers, and devices. And it has some other features as well. So you can
I
lock people
see.
out of their devices, remote lock. Yeah. So it has features like that.
Okay, cool. So when you say domain, I've never known what a domain was, but it kind of makes sense now. So when you get hired on a job, it's it's the system that the job computers log into and everybody uses that. You can't use a home computer in your Google network or whatever you use at home. You have to log into their work. It's where all their work stuff is. Yes. Um, cool. I did not know that. See, it's good to have to know in IT. Okay. One thing I wanted to point out that they said they're bullish on Microsoft for is data centers. Look, folks, if you really want to know where the future is going, look, the now is already chips, the now is already GPUs, TPUs, and there's another LPU, language processing unit. I just found out about that one like 2 weeks ago. That's the now, right? The future is still AI because it's still in infancy. I'm telling you, telling you, telling you, it's still in infancy. Data centers still in infancy. All they're doing is buying up warehouses and land, and they're making all of these storage units galore, all of these servers and things so they can hold data. Um, I'm telling you, data is the new gold rush of 49. Data is the new gold rush. I'm telling you, data is the most valuable thing you can have nowadays. If you don't believe me, whisper, I like sandals near your phone. And then as soon as you log in and you hit Google or you go to Amazon, watch, sandals are going to jump up in your feed. You're going to be like, you know what? I was just talking about sandals. Why do you think that is? Marketing. That's why they have things listening to you. Whenever you Google search something, it saves that in your algorithm and it'll show you more. Whenever you YouTube something, and I say YouTube to mean search because YouTube is the second largest search engine, the algorithm will bring up more suggested for you because you looked at it last time, right? It saves all your analytics. That's why if you look at your year-end review for your YouTube account, it will show you the most viewed channels. It will show you the most viewed kind of content you looked at. How can it do that? It's cool at the end of the year, but if I tell you all throughout the year, it's listening to you and stuff, you don't like that. But at the end of the year, when it shows you everything, the biggest stuff that you looked at, you think it's cool because they made a video and the music's up and running, but they're constantly gathering information on you. And data centers is going to be the future. It's already rolling. So if you invest and why am I saying this? Invest in companies that are investing in data centers and building data centers like crazy. Amazon's another one. But if you look at top 10 companies building data centers, well, let's just do that. Yeah, let's go 10. All right. Let's see what it rolls out. Microsoft is definitely going to be one of them. I think Amazon will be too. Um, Oracle, yes, you're exactly right. So the chat said that if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see the screen though. That in the top right. So Amazon, look, there it is. Microsoft, there's Google, there's Meta, Oracle, there it is. There it is. And look what it says. Designed for over 450,000 NVIDIA GPUs. See that? That's why you should invest in NVIDIA. NVIDIA is doing things that's changing the world and they're helping. This means jobs, folks. That's right. So you better get tech savvy. If you don't know anything about data centers, you better learn because if you want a job, yeah, who just did layoffs? Amazon did layoffs. I think Microsoft did some. Um, I see people on online. Maybe Google did some too, I think. But I see people online saying that, oh, my job laid me off. Well, listen, you better be looking for the next best thing all the time. Listen, always be checking your temperature. The Bible tells you to examine yourself for if you have good character and you're being Christ-like or Christian all the time, right? You need to examine yourself all the time for your job security. You need to examine yourself all the time on whether you're staying stagnant or not. So if you didn't get a new hard skill last year, you better get one this year. Get two to make up for last year's, or get one and get proficient in it, right? Because whose job is it to make sure you don't lose your job and not be able to get another one? Yours. All right, Equinox, never heard of them. Alibaba's, this is what I was talking about before. They are high in AI um, innovation. And look, they're number 7 on the list for data storage. CoreWeave. Now, CoreWeave was one heck of an IPO. In fact, CoreWeave was one of the IPOs I looked at a couple weeks ago that IPO'd and did not fall down from its IPOing. Let me see. I'm sure it's still the case. They may not be as high as they were before. They're at 152% over what they IPO'd at. CoreWeave is not playing. All right, Vantage Data Centers, never heard of them. Digital Realty, never heard of them. It's funny they put realty, but I mean, what is this? 10 top data center construction firms. All right, now this would be something to be looking at as well. DPR Construction, Turner Construction, Holder Construction, Whiting Turner, AECom, Mortensen, Jacob Solutions, Bechtel Corporation, Skanska USA. Wow. Hit Construction or contracting. I'm speaking way too fast for my mouth, and that's why I keep stumbling. But listen, this gave me not only the top 10 companies that are in data centers, they gave you just now the top 10 firms that are constructing those. Look, what more can you ask for, folks? So if you are in the Discord live, I ask that you share this out to people because I'm going to tell you, right now, this information needs to get out there, and a lot of people don't have it, and they want it, but they got to pull themselves away from being entertained all the time. Anyway, let's do the last one here. The company consistently have beaten EPS and revenue expectations in recent quarters. For the current quarter, analysts estimate strong year-over-year EPS growth, nearly 20%. And that's why they're saying buy Microsoft. We won't bother with the bearish because Microsoft is in the Mag 7. I shouldn't have done it with the other ones. Then pressed for time, we're going to go ahead and skip why they're saying not to buy it. It's been on the screen. If you haven't seen it or screenshot it, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can just pause it right now before I move on to the next thing. But it's in the Magnificent 7. these stocks are the ones that are really taking off and really driving GDP for America as well. And all of them in the S&P 500. So we know you should buy them. But whether you do or not, that's up to you. This is just advice. I am not licensed, but I do have a professional opinion. Now, Meta. Let's look at Meta. Let's see what old Mark Zuckerberg has been up to. And look at that stock price. Bam. You know what's crazy? I remember when they IPO'd, I think they were at like 12 bucks or 26 bucks, somewhere in there. It wasn't much. And it was like 2011 or 2012. I think it was 12. And I was like, you know what? I'm not buying that. That's Facebook, man. See, look, May 18th, 2012. That's actually the day I transferred from my first duty station. May 18th, 2012, I transferred from Naval Air Station Jacksonville, and I was on my way to Pensacola to go to my sea school, to go to my first sea duty. And I came out here to San Diego. I remember when that IPO, what is it at? This is 38.23. Okay. Well, I said 12 bucks. I was wrong. But listen, had I bought it, look at what it's done now. I mean, it went up to about, what is this? 372, and then it dropped way off the face of the earth in 2022. The whole market crashed down in 2022. So that's just not, I could tell you that for certain. I was on deployment and kept seeing everything go down, 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 down. That was a bad year for the market. And then last year they were up at 778. So Meta is doing wonders. Let's look at year over year. Let's skip all of that. So year over year, they're only up 1%. So, but again, let's look at April. Had you bought it down here April 21st, it was 484. So you wouldn't have doubled your money, but for sure you would have had 140 bucks worth of equity in each share. Just saying, wouldn't have been a bad place to invest my money. Because look at all of the stocks that we've talked about thus far. What savings account, what checkings account, what savings certificate or savings CD, what you tell me what money market account is getting that kind of return out of the four we just mentioned? They're not. So you really have to think, when people say I wouldn't invest in the stock market and they have that fear, okay, you can show them why or just let them be. I don't know. Apple. Well, hold it. Let's see reasons to invest. We can go a little longer today. All right, reasons to invest. They're saying they have strong advertising performance and AI integration. Actually, I was telling somebody the other day about Meta's ads on Facebook when I started running ads. Their ads really do work, so that's great. And AI integration. Let's see, positive analyst sentiment and price targets. So they're thinking that their price targets will be up 30%. That is great. 30% is a strong year over year gain because usually it's 10%. The S&P 500 has been operating off of 10%, and that's been fantastic. So that was the norm. So 30% is fantastic. And again, your house won't appreciate 30% in a year. Good luck. Even in San Diego, it was 8 to 16%. Shareholder return initiatives. Management has emphasized its commitment to returning capital to the shareholders. This includes ongoing significant share repurchase program and a new sustainable quarterly cash dividend. I was going to say returning, whenever you hear returning capital to shareholders, that means dividends. And they pay one. I didn't think they paid one before. I don't know when they started, but they pay dividends now. Look at that. And this is just a bonus for owning it. It's not like the dividend has to be significantly high. That's a low dividend, but they're already giving you so much equity in each share that That's the reason you're buying it. You're not buying it for the dividend. The dividend is just an added bonus. You get a couple more dollars each year for owning shares. So that's going to incentivize you to buy more. But the reason why you would buy this is Meta. The reason why you would buy this, it's up in the top left. If you look at Google Finance, look below finance. Um, so you're not buying it for the dividend, you're buying Meta because you know the equity is going to go crazy, and it already has, right? But this is just an added bonus to keep you buying Meta. But again, you're going to make so much more equity than you're going to make off of dividends. This is a bonus. This is not the purpose of why you're buying it. But I think Meta is a very strong company. All right, let's look at the other Mag 7. That's the kids outside. If y'all can hear them in the mic, they are being loud. But hey, kids will be kids. They're being loud, but they're also being kids. So I say, let them play, let them eat cake. No, I'm just kidding. Amazon, amazing, I call it. And I almost typed it too, twice. All right, week over week. That's not a thing, but the last week down 3%, 8% for the month, 6 months, 7% almost. Since January, it's positive, up 3.5%, and year over year, 5%. But let's look down here. April, it was trading at 167. So had you bought it, then you'd be up $70 worth of equity in each share. I'm just saying, not a bad return at all. Not a bad return at all. Let's see. Now we know Amazon. We know Amazon for shipping, right? It's app where they ship products faster than DHS, DHL, whatever it is. You don't even see those vans anymore. They used to be the premier shipping. Them, UPS, FedEx, USPS. Man, Amazon's outdoing them all. And when they started their fleet of trucks and stuff, it was over. And AWS is for cloud. Yeah. Let's see what you said, chat. Where is that comment? Oh, Amazon AWS is amazing for cloud computing. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So AWS and AI. I'm speaking way too fast today, man. My mouth can't keep up. See, I couldn't even figure out which one couldn't keep up. We're just gonna roll with it today. AWS is expanding at approximately 20% annually, a key margin driver. Recent AI initiatives included the Rufus shopping assistant and a new European sovereign cloud are expected to accelerate revenue and margin expansion. Well, that's great, Chad. I saw that. It's among, if not the leader of cloud storage and computing. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I would say probably among. I don't know if it is the leader, but I couldn't tell you it's not. Because you have Google, you have OneDrive. Who I don't know who owns that. Who is that? Is that Microsoft? So OneDrive, Google Drive, AWS, everybody look at all the tech companies, right? Look at what they're doing. All of them are doing some part of a chip or computer. All of them are doing some part of storage. All of them are doing some part of some AI integration. Look at all of the tech companies, what they're doing, and that should tell you exactly what you should be investing in. Who makes TPUs? Who makes GPUs? Open your computer up. Don't do that because you might not get it back together. But on screen, Google it. Computer components. Look at who makes all of those. And if you see 11 companies that makes casings, okay, maybe not look to invest there, right? But GPUs, you see like 3 companies that make them, and one predominant company with a moat, almost a monopoly, NVIDIA, you might want to invest in that company. That's all I'm saying. Because when I say computers, I mean, remember, these are supercomputers as well. These flat screen TVs that are able to make phone calls. All right, let's move on. The stock has a consensus rating of strong buy from the majority of Wall Street analysts. The average price target is approximately 295 to 297, so it's not a huge spread. But when it drops into that range, they see an uptick of 23% from the current price. So it's not in that current price range right now, but it's not far from it. It's just $2 over, just like the last one. Um, did we do this one already? Yeah, 70 bucks. Okay. And then the last one is strategic capital allocation. Amazon is investing heavily in AI data centers. What did I say? What did I say? With over 125 billion in planned capital expenditures for 2025. Well, that's already done. Securing key supply deals like copper from Rio Tinto supports this expansion and reduces potential bottlenecks. All right, so look, they just told you something else that they need for data centers, a precious metal, copper. You may not think copper is a precious metal, but it's precious when they're building data centers. When they can't build a data center without it, and data centers are the future, it becomes precious. When your pipes are made out of copper, when there are a lot of computer components and radio coils and stuff made out of copper, copper becomes more important. You said Ethernet and coax cable. Yep. So I think it's a precious metal. Absolutely think it's a precious metal. All right. And then let's look at the last Mag 7, which is Google. Now remember, each of these companies have a CEO. Y'all should be looking them up too. All right, Alphabet Class C. Let's see what we talking about. All right, so 5 days, they're up 1.36%, almost 11% the last month. 6 months is 78%. Year to date, 5%. Year over year, 67%. Now, if you notice, Google has been the best performing of the Mag 7 numbers wise yet. Well, not yet. This is the last one. So Google has been the best performing out of the Mag 7. If you look at the numbers, they're all positive. Maybe except for, yeah, today's or whatever. But they're all positive. They're all positive. As a matter of fact, what's his 52-week high? 335? No, 341. It's at 330, 52-week low of 142. I wouldn't buy it right now. It's too high. However, I was Earn Your Leisure, one of them. It was Ian or Troy picked Google as their stock of the year. I picked Robinhood as my stock of the year last year. I'm kind of biased there, but I mean, it's not like I'm a Fortune 500 company invested 50% in the Robinhood, but I picked it as my stock of the year, and I told y'all why. Because they are building a moat on an island that it's a floating island and it's self-sufficient and it has everything it needs. And that's what they're building, and they're ready to cast it away from the mainland. And it's just going to float out there by itself and get bigger all by itself. It's going to send out, its construction workers and trucks and stuff, and it's going to grab more land and build that and bring it back and build that island bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just say that to mean that it's going to be self-sufficient. It's going to be its own bank. It's already a lender. It's going to have checking, savings accounts, and they're starting at New York right now, he said, because they have a branch in New York, actually, of Robinhood. They're going to do custodial accounts. They're already doing IRAs that you can open with them. They're doing IRA transfers, so you can bring your 401k over into them. They're doing direct deposit. They're going to do home loans. They're going to do mortgages. I mean, self-sufficiency. I'm just saying. So that was my stock of the year last year, and I'm just going to keep rolling it. It's my stock of the year this year. Now, when they stop innovating, Google's a strong second, though, from what they're doing. And let's look at some of that right now. So let's see. They're saying buy it. The strong buy the price target. So they're saying it's suggesting an upside to the price target, but they didn't give what it was. Notice this is the only one where they said it and they didn't say a percentage, um, or a number that they think the stock is going to hit. But Google's on the move, and here's one of the reasons why: is $70 billion share buyback and dividend hike. Alphabet announced a new $70 billion share repurchase program and a 5% dividend increase, demonstrating confidence in enhancing shareholder returns. So there's one big reason why, and here goes another one. AI and cloud segment growth. The Google Cloud business is projected to have 34% revenue growth, driven by a strong backlog and demand for AI products like Gemini, which is expected to fuel future growth. Gemini is being heralded right now as like the number one AI out there, even over Chat GPT, just because of innovation, innovation. And it's probably driven by the users, to be honest. Listen, if you're using Gemini, if you're using Chat GPT, if you're using any of these AIs, and you're trying to, let's say you're working on a project, let's say you're trying to design a whole house utilizing the AI, and the AI can't seem to get the corners of the house or the dimensions just right. I took drafting, but I was never into architecture, and I didn't really like drafting that much. I like to draw, but it's not the same thing. I didn't like carefully measuring corners and things of that nature. I just didn't like it, and I failed it too in the ninth grade. So there's that. But anyway, where was I going with that? I don't even remember. Oh, but if you're trying to draw a house utilizing the AIs and it's getting stuck on something, give feedback. Tell them that, hey, I'm trying to design, I'm an architect, or I'm in an architectural field, and I am trying to design homes, apartments, floor plans using AI, but it's having a problem with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And keep sending it in and say, okay, with the new update, it got this right, but it's still not doing A, B, C, D, E, F, right? If it could get at least F, I think it would be better than the other AI, because I'm using that one too, and that one can't do but A, B, and C. Do that. Do that, because that is how they're innovating these AIs. That's their feedback. You know, way back in the day, before there was like internet was really a thing, and before these flat screen TVs started being able to get you on the internet and get you connected across the world in mere seconds, people had to send in letters to do feedback. They had to send in emails. Imagine how long that took to write an actual letter. You can type faster than you can write, unless it's going to look like chicken scratch. Um, but yeah, send in the feedback, and that's how they're innovating. But yes, right now, Gemini seems to be king of the mountain. Now, I won't say how high up, how what its mountain peak looks like and Chat GPT's mountain peak looks like, but you have Vidu, Leonardo, you have all these other Anthropic. Isn't that an AI? I don't. There's a couple, and DeepSeek is somewhere with its own mountain peak as well. So just beware of that. Now the dividend they pay is a bonus again. Let's look at 52-week high and low. Oh, we did already. It's too high to buy right now, in my opinion. It's near its 52-week high. You want at least 20% drop from the high. But now, here's the thing about Google. You may not get necessarily a 20% drop, but if you can get a 10% drop and you think it's good enough to drop in some shares there, you can do that. If you're one of those folks that has a pot of money and they want to drop at the perfect price, what you can do is stair step your way into it. So if it drops 10%, buy 100 shares, right? And then if you get a 20% drop, yeah, you just lost some equity, but buy 200 shares at the 20% drop. If you get a 40% drop, buy more shares at the 40%. What did you just do? You just averaged down, right? So you brought the average that you bought it down. And so your equity should be even killed, right? Or you could just start weekly buys of $100 or $200 or $300, and you can dollar cost average throughout the entire year. And guess what? You get the average. You get the highs, the lows. You get the average of the stock every year. And that's probably the best way to buy long-term stocks is dollar cost averaging. I wouldn't call it necessarily a lazy way. I would say it's the leave it and forget it way. Most effective way to buy stock. Otherwise, if you're more crafty, you can play the game with the peaks and the valleys, right? So if you're good at judging where the valley is gonna end, the floor is, you can buy it down there with $10,000 or something like that, and watch that sucker grow. So if you're crafty like that and you're gonna study and you're gonna know what you're doing, do it like that. Otherwise, buy the Mag 7, set it and forget it. What are we talking about? Keep an eye on Greenland. Trump wants also China buying up farmland here in the U.S. China's buying up everything here in the U.S. They're buying up real estate. Nobody's stopping them. You know, I have a theory that several countries conquered the world in its own right. You know how you used to hear about Alexander the Great, Caesar. You used to hear about Genghis and Kublai Khan. Um, which Genghis was his grandfather, um, almost conquering all of like Europe into Russia and stuff like that. Well, I think in one way, England conquered the world because English is now the most widely spoken language in the world, and it has been for a while. It's not is now, right? It is the most widely spoken language in the world. So you could say, well, that came from America. Well, Americans, if they weren't native, actually came from England and parts of Africa, right? So us Americans had English influence as well when we came over here and started the 13 colonies, right? So, in a way, England conquered the world with their language. China's conquering the world with their population, right? China has gone out to Africa, to the the islands, the Caribbean. They're all over Jamaica, the Caribbean. They're all in America, and their population and their money is conquering the world. So, if you really think about it, there are ways to conquer the world that does not mean total world domination. Not like that, but yeah, that's just something I think about. Um, I did hear about Iceland. I mean Greenland, which is really the Iceland, and Iceland is really the Greenland. And they said that this was done on purpose to keep people out of the green one, which would be Iceland. Um, he does want Greenland. He talked about it. I think it could be part of military strategy. I think it could be resources. Um, but you can want what you want. We'll see what happens. I can't get too political on here, as y'all already know. Tax season, how do we file stock investments? Well, it's simple. Whatever stock brokerage you bank with or invest with, they will send you the tax document. And that's a smart question, though. That's a very good question. They will send you your tax statement for 2025, and you file that with your taxes. Um, and if the person doing your taxes does not know how to handle assets like equities, then you have the wrong tax person for you. See, most tax folk, they only know how to do W 2s. That's like the basic thing that you learn, right? So if you have a W 2 job and you just save money in checking accounts, shoe boxes, savings accounts, holes in the walls, in the floor mats, um, wherever you save it, you don't own any real estate, so you're not buying a house. You're renting an apartment. You don't trade in the stock market or invest or anything like that. Yours is the easiest taxes to do. You could be in and out in 5 minutes. I'd say 15 to be safe, but it doesn't take long to do your taxes at all. They just plug and play your taxable income. They look at your withholdings and bada boom, bada bip, you're in and out of there. But when you start owning things, like we're buying a house, so we have W two. I work for the Navy, right, the U.S. government, so that's W two. We're buying this house that my studio is in, right? So we pay a mortgage. So there's another tax form. We have an LLC. There's another tax form, a couple LLC, right? With our Amazon store. Um, uh, Also, invest in the stock market. There's another tax form. So see, already 4 times the amount of tax forms. If you have kids and you have childcare, um, sometimes they'll give you a tax form for how much you paid on the childcare. But that's not owning things. I'm just saying. Um, Most people just have the W two. Is my point. And when you start owning assets, you take the money you earn and you buy assets versus liabilities. Notice they're not going to give you a tax form no matter how many cars you buy. No one cares. There's no tax form for it. You know why? It's an asset because it has value and it can be sold for a certain amount, but it's not an asset in the way of appreciation. If you're not buying assets that appreciate, then it's not considered an asset. So think about it like that. So if you had land, if you had a house, things of that nature, equities, uh, even like money market accounts, mutual funds, your IRA. Um, I think you get a statement on that one, but I don't think you need that for your taxes because you're going to get, when you pull that money, if it's traditional, there's where you're going to get hit with tax. Or if you have a Roth, it's already taxed when it goes in. So, anyway, that was a great question. Any more questions or comments from the chat? Because I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. If not, um, I think it was a great show. I keep the Charlie Munger videos in the holster for, weeks where I haven't found a lot of good information out there to go over, or if I'm just kind of between topics and I'm trying to get something together, I'll just throw that in. And because it's great knowledge. And the man was 99. He absolutely knew what he was talking about. And when your best friend's also a billionaire and they say he's richer than you, there was a short that I wanted to play. Um, and you know what? Let me see if I can find it. I'll close the show out with that if I can find it. Uh, Here we go. We'll close out with this.
In spite of being partners for so long, why is Warren so much richer than you?
First of all, why is that funny? They're both billionaires. Who cares? But I don't know why that's funny. But okay.
Well, he got an earlier start. He probably a little smarter. He works harder. There are not a lot of reasons.
See that? He didn't crap on his friend. They're laughing and stuff. And if that man had any inflated ego at all, or an ego that can't deal with, oh, that hurt, somebody being richer than him, he would have actually lashed out at his buddy. He did not lash out at his buddy. He said, well, for one, he started earlier, he works harder, he's a little smarter. There's a lot of reasons that he's richer than me. He gave his buddy credit, and that's a good friend right there. He is humble. That shows good character. That shows that no matter what, he's not going to let something come in between him and his buddy. Not even money, which will rip the closest of friends apart.
In spite of being partners for so long,
There
why
was
is
another
Warren so
piece
much
to
richer
it that
than
I
you?
wanted y'all to see, but I guess that wasn't the whole clip. Let me see if this one is.
In spite of being partners for so long, why is Warren so much richer than you?
Well, he got an earlier start. He was probably a little smarter. He worked harder. There are not a lot of reasons. Why was Albert Einstein poorer than I was?
There it is. There it is. See? With great age comes great wisdom. You see that? His clapback was so classy. Let me play that again. Y'all get the message. Get the message here.
For so long, why is Warren so much richer than you?
Well, he got an earlier start. He was probably a little smarter. He worked harder. There are not a lot of reasons. Why was Albert Einstein poorer than I was?
See, this is why I say there's a difference between intelligence and smarts. You can be intelligent and be so academically elite that you could actually be dumb with the moves you make in life. You have college professors out here that are broke, living paycheck to paycheck, but they're so, people say they're smarter than you. No, they're more intelligent than you. But the guy who barely graduated high school is making smarter moves than the intelligent guy and owns two businesses and is a millionaire. There's a difference between intelligence and smarts. That's one thing that he was saying, right? I love his clapback because it was so classy and it was just well timed and delivered. And he has no hubris. Like, the guy is humble. He's so humble. And I just loved his response to it. Why was Albert Einstein so much poorer than I was? Good God. What do you say to that? You know? Anyway, folks, that's the show for today. Look, we actually went an hour and 28 minutes. And I'm gonna get this uploaded to YouTube. But look, every Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're in the East Coast, that's 1 p.m. your time. Central, I think you're next. That'd be 12 o'clock your time. So Pensacola, up and down. And then what's the next one? Mountain. Mountain, you'd be 11 o'clock. Right? Yeah, 11 o'clock. Anyway, everybody else figure it out. California's time. San Diego is the time zone, or LA or whatever. But 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every Saturday. We talk about some much needed financial literacy topics every single Saturday. I try not to miss. But thank you for joining me. The Forge is going cold this week. Remember, if you want t-shirts, you can order them. I have this bright blue. I have a navy blue. I have a baby blue. Bars. I'm just kidding. I've got a tan. I've got a black. I've got a I'm just kidding. I can't rhyme. See, I said bars and I done messed it up. I got a red. I've got a black. I'll probably put some colors for you. You can order any size t-shirt you want. I think up into like a 3 or 4 XL. And then if you want to make an order, just go on Cashapp and search the Blacksmith Podcast. It's a $40 shirt. I have to make some profit off of it, right? And I thank you for your support. There were some people who bought recently, and I went ahead and those shirts are shipped. I already told them that they're shipped and they're on their way. They may have gotten them by now, but if you want to support the channel, that's probably viewership, sharing it with other people, bringing other people to the Discord. You don't have to provide any money. I've never taken a donation. I've never asked for a donation. Not that I wouldn't have taken a donation. I just never asked for one, and no one's given it. But those three things you can do, and that doesn't cost you anything. View, like, share, subscribe, bring people to the Discord, invite them. Because if they're your friends, if they're your family, you love them, you like them, get them in here so they can love and like some returns in the market as well. I love y'all. See y'all later. Have a great Saturday and the rest of your weekend.